Doing a PhD is very stressful, and what's even more stressful is this added unspoken pressure that you have to make the right move and get the best first job after your PhD. Otherwise, the rest of your career is not going to go the way you want. I'm here to release some of that pressure by showing you how to effectively find a job after your PhD, some ideas on what you could do, giving you the real deal on how networking is very overrated, and also a little rant about this concept of leaving academia and never being able to return. If you can get one thing away from this video, is that do life your way. This is your life, this is your career. Do things your way, it's all gonna turn out fine. Let's get into it. Okay everyone, so here we are on LinkedIn. This is the LinkedIn jobs page. This is where I found my job, which was I just wrote DNA methylation biomarkers and then it came up. And I feel like the LinkedIn search is actually much better search system. But the most important thing I wanted to show you is if you go on your profile and you add some skills down here. So I even added like some featured stuff. I added my CV here, so just in case there were some recruiters on LinkedIn who were looking at my profile, they would come across my CV and then they could send me job adverts, and I've had people who do that. So then you add your experience here. And one thing you want to do when you're adding experiences, so for example, this was like my doctoral student experience, you want to add skills, okay? So I put in DNA methylation, biomarker discovery, scientific writing, research, public engagement. I put in R, which was the language I used, biostatistics, machine learning, data science, data analysis, everything you can think of. And the reason this is quite important is because it will show you jobs based on what skills you have put on your actual profile. And this is how it's actually going to filter things for you and send you things that are extremely relevant. I didn't even have LinkedIn Premium. I don't really think there's any need to get that. So yeah, but it's a better way of finding jobs that are relevant to your skills, because that's where you'll probably be more likely to be accepted. Okay, so another thing you can do is maybe look at Google. So if you write bioinformatics jobs, this Google jobs, there's Indeed, which is also okay. I think Glassdoor is also kind of nice. You can also set up alerts on here. You can create job alerts on Glassdoor and then it will email you stuff, and sometimes it does send you interesting things. The good thing about Glassdoor is you can kind of look at the pay scale and everything these days. So, it's good to look here. There's Indeed.com, Jobs.com. I don't really like that much. I do quite like Glassdoor and LinkedIn, basically, or like Google Jobs. So I think if you use these three, it will be more than enough, okay? Okay, one thing I want to talk about is networking, because I have a bit of a gripe with it. I think it is overrated, okay? Hear me out, okay? First of all, have you or anybody you know ever gotten a job from networking? Because I haven't, neither has anybody in my circle. I don't know, I've never met a person who got their job via networking. So is this some kind of myth that the boomers are telling us? Because in our generation, it's just not working. I don't know what's going on. Are like the boomers lying to us? First of all, you know how people network these days is they go to this like networking event and they're like, oh, hello, yeah, this is me, this is what I do, this is what you do, oh, great, hoo, here's my business card, blah, blah. Like, that is not gonna help anybody get a job. Like, if that person even finds a job that is perfect for you, they're never going to think of you because you have not built an actual connection with them. They don't know who you are. They don't know if you're trustworthy. They don't know anything about you. They're not going to remember your CV either. You've not helped them with anything that you even come to their mind when they see this job advert. So I think just networking for the sake of networking or for the sake of finding a job, it just, like, it doesn't work. So that's one thing, right? And then another thing is jobs are going to be advertised. All jobs have to be advertised, like legally. Even if they've already got a person in mind for this job, it's going to be advertised, so you're going to see it anyway, okay? So it's way more efficient than networking, I think, because for networking you kind of have to wait for an opportunity to come to you, or you be headhunted or something like that. But you need to be taking the action here, and you need to be applying to jobs, right? The other thing with networking is that you might just have to wait a lot sometimes. Like, for example, if there's a professor whose work you really like, and you ask them like, okay, can I join your lab for a postdoc, blah blah blah, they might not actually have the funding, and they might say, oh yeah, okay, I know you, you're great, let's apply for funding. But then that funding might come, might not come, it might take months to come. And so I think it's just a slower process. It's not the best process to find something more quickly and efficiently if you're looking for a job right now. I do remember now so my manager in my company actually found this position because she knew the chief scientific officer while they were doing PhDs in Cambridge. But again, they knew each other better than just like somebody you meet at a networking event and you say, oh yeah, hey, this is me, blah blah. So you have to really get to know somebody, know what they're doing, in a way build an actual rapport, an actual relationship for that to even be a useful enough connection. And now, if you want to use this solely to hunt for jobs, you're gonna have to invest so much time in each of these connections, which at the end might not even get you a job. So eventually I would just apply, bottom line. Even if you disagree with me, it's just, I think it's important for us to have this opinion out there, because everybody's talking about networking, but I just don't see enough people getting jobs via networking. And so, if it's a myth, let's break it. Let's break it right here. And let's normalize calling networking pretty overrated. I'm sick of it. I know it is so difficult right now. The job market is tough. There's a lot of competition. It seems like there's not enough jobs. But you know what? Like, just hang in there. That's what I would say. Just keep applying. I know you might be getting so many job rejections, and it's just so difficult because you keep thinking like, oh my gosh, am I not good enough? What's going on? Blah blah blah. You know what? Like, the job that is meant for you, you're gonna get that one, and you're gonna be rejected from all the other ones. Like, just don't lose hope. Maybe don't just go and apply 50 places at once. Really tailor your application to the description of the job, tailor your cover letter, actually apply to jobs where you think you're actually a good fit, because that's already going to massively increase your chances of getting in. Because I've seen a lot of people applying for every job they see on LinkedIn, and they think, oh, let's just apply, there's no harm. Yes, there isn't. Do shoot your shots. I always encourage people to go for it, even if you think you're not going to get it, all that stuff. However, you do have to be a little bit smart about it and make sure that you do have some of the skills, you do have a chance of getting in, things like that, looking at your skill set and what they require. What is the job even about? Because sometimes people apply to a job that has nothing to do with their field, or it's totally, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's totally different from their CV, and obviously they're not going to get that. Or if you're applying to the most competitive job ever, maybe it is okay to shoot a little bit lower, maybe for the time being, have a job that is maybe not your dream job, but that's gonna get you to the dream job. And there's no shame in that, there's no harm in that, okay? A lot of times we as PhD students stress and we think, oh my god, I have to make the best career move ever, because the postdoc that I get after my PhD is going to determine the rest of my career trajectory. And again, I don't know who's feeding us these myths, who's feeding us these lies, because it does not matter. You know how people say, oh, your postdoc afterwards has to be in a different lab, go to a better place, go to a better lab, things like that. And yeah, maybe you should, but maybe it's also time for a little bit of rest and recovery. Like, I know that's what I wanted and that's what I needed. And so I decided to take a job in industry rather than stay in academia, because I was like, academia is so burning me out right now. I don't want to lose, you know, my health, my mental health. I don't want to suffer just to stay in academia and just to have that like perfect career trajectory or whatever. You know, it's never going to be perfect. You take your time, go at your own pace, do what you want to do. For example, for me, right, I had PhD from Oxford. Everybody would have thought, oh, I would go to like the US, go to Harvard for a postdoc, or Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, blah, 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 you know, an amazing lab or whatever, stay in academia, become a professor, whatever. That's not what I wanted, and I was so tired. I was nearly burnt out from the PhD. I was like, there's no way I want to do academia right now, and let's try industry. I've never tried industry, and then this job came up and I went for it, you know, and I've been happy. It's been like less stressful than academia. It's been more relaxed, very flexible. I like the team, I like the work that I do, you know. Sure, sometimes I think, oh my god, do I want to do something else, blah blah blah, but you will always get that feeling regardless of what job you're in. And you know, go with the flow a little bit. Like I'm not stressed. So where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years down the line? I don't know. I haven't thought that far. I don't have the brain cells right now to think that far. I just finished my PhD last year. I'm still not over it. I'm still not recovered, okay? That was intense. That was a storm. It wrung me completely. And so I'm taking my time. I'm not looking so far ahead where I can't even see what the job market is going to be like in 5 years. I don't even know what I'd want to do in 5 years, you know? So things change, and maybe sometimes it's okay to not have a long-term plan. That's what I'm saying, okay? This is all completely opposite to every advice you hear out there, and I think it's just time to take control and do things your way. And I'm doing things my way, and my mental health is not suffering, and this is your life. Do it your way, okay? Okay, breathe here. Such a rant. I had thought of something else I was gonna say that was important, and I sort of forgot. Oh yes, okay. You could probably tell another rant coming. So this thing that really pisses me off, of people saying, oh, they're quitting academia if they move to industry, or they think, oh my god, they'll never be able to get back into academia. And there was almost this like stupid trend on Twitter. Every day I'm opening Twitter. First of all, I quit Twitter. It's like, it sucks, okay? So every time I go on there, people are like, here are 10 reasons I'm quitting academia, blah, blah, blah. And then they go on and on about how it's so shit and blah, 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 and why they quit, and now they're going to industry. Why do they call it quitting academia if you're just taking another job in industry? Like, did I quit academia? I don't think I quit academia. Did I like break up with academia? No. If I want to go back into academia, I can, okay? Even in industry, I have a researcher position. I'm not ashamed. I'm not less of a researcher just because I'm in industry. No, we're still doing rigorous research. We're still publishing. We're still, you know, I'm still a scientist. And so I just don't fear that, oh, I won't be able to go back to academia just because I took a job in industry and I didn't do a postdoc, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff is also BS, okay? My examiner at the University of Oxford, he did his PhD, I think at Oxford or somewhere, and then he quit academia for 10 years, went and did app development, okay? Like, I was looking at his LinkedIn, I was like, he did app development, and then he came back with a bang, did a professorship at Oxford. Like, you know, now he's a professor at Oxford. So would he have said, oh, I'm quitting academia, blah, blah, if he thought that he can never go back to academia after 10 years of developing apps? He never would have been at Oxford right now. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because you took a job in industry doesn't mean you can never come back to academia, okay? Yeah. That's my other rant over for you. And hopefully that puts even less pressure on you to find the right postdoc, because it might not be out there right now. And postdoc salaries are horrible as well. Maybe you're like, I've struggled so much as a PhD student for so long on a stipend. Maybe you have a young family, things like that. And you're like, you know what? I want to earn a little bit more, live a bit more comfortable right now. I don't want to go through this rat race of postdocs in academia right now. Let's just take a bit of a break. It's totally okay to do that. I give you permission. I'm doing it myself. Let's all just relax a little bit and take a breath, okay? You've been through a lot. Please just don't put yourself under chronic stress. It's okay to do a little bit less than your utmost all the time, okay? You've done that for 6 years of your PhD. Just relax a little bit, okay? Okay, so I think that's all my rants for today. I hope it gave you something different to think about, and just to, my main message, which I hope to send across, is don't stress too much. You're gonna be fine. You have a PhD, okay? You are going to be fine. You know how to solve problems. You know how to make stuff happen. You know how to write a whole thesis out of nowhere, okay? Like, you can conjure up your own job opportunities. You know how to find stuff, okay? You are a researcher. So literally, your PhD has trained you for the rest of your life. You're gonna be fine, okay? You'll be fine. And that's what I will end it with. You are gonna be fine. Okay? Bye.